so.
But you had a great road trip.
Had a great road trip. And it's time for some work. So you guys are probably going to be in better yoga shape than me, but that's okay. Do what you can do. And my name is Clint, and this is Ashtanga Yoga. And I am back on YouTube also. Okay, so we're going to start the way we normally do, standing up. Come into Dandasana, and that's getting your feet about hip width apart. Hip width, you can put two fists together and then put those fists in between your arches. And that is just about perfect for your hips. If you have to move your feet a little bit wider, a little bit narrower, that's okay too. From here, stand up straight. Take the crown of your head up towards the ceiling and isometrically drag your feet toward each other so you can feel the muscles in your legs. From here, take your upper inner thighs, rotate them towards the back, and then tuck your tailbone under by tilting your pelvis back. That will give that little arch in your lower spine a little bit extra. From here, lift your shoulders up towards your ears, roll them back, have your shoulder blades kissed, let them just float down your back. And notice what direction your palms are facing. Now, the anatomy books are going to say that your palms are facing directly forward. But everybody has a different experience, a different way that your bones have been created over time. From here, again, lift the crown of your head up. That will tuck your chin in a little bit. Gaze off at that horizon and breathe in and out through your nose. And now begin to engage your mula bandhas. Those are your pelvic floor muscles, your kegel muscles. That will help build heat. And now add to that your Uddiyana bandhas. Those are the lower abdominal muscles, halfway between your pubic bone and your navel. And you'll notice some restriction on your breath as those muscles prevent your diaphragm from pushing your organs down farther. And now begin to engage your Jalalahara bandhas. That's the glottis in the back of your throat. And you begin to make sound with your breath. And maybe now you can begin to feel the heat building in your body. Your muscles should all be engaged. If we stayed here for 2 minutes, you'd all be breaking out into a sweat. Keep your bandhas engaged as much as you can throughout the practice. It will help you with your postures, it will help you get into poses, and it will help you keep your breath in line. And then on your next inhale, bring your arms out to the side, up overhead, gaze up as your palms come together, and then exhale. Bring your arms out and down by your side. Again, inhale up, gaze up and arch. And then exhale, bring your arms back down. Inhale your arms up. And exhale, swan dive all the way over. Your knees can be bent a little or a lot. Find your hands to the floor. It can be just your fingers. Your fingers can be to your shins. And from here, on each inhale, see if you can straightenish your legs and bring your chest up a little bit. And on your exhales, forward fold a little bit more. This is your fifth inhale approximately. Exhale, forward fold. And on your next inhale, using your thighs, rise all the way up, arms out overhead, hands together, and then dropping your palms, heart centers, Samasthiti, and then back to Tadasana. Again, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. We'll be here for another 5 breaths. You can walk your knees forwards and backwards if that helps loosen up your hamstrings. If any of you have a fascia gun at home, this is a good pose to use where you put that against the backs of your knees and the tops of your hamstrings. You will really loosen up your hamstrings immensely. On your next inhale, come up halfway, gaze at the horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Grab your left wrist with your right hand, weight into your left foot, and side bend to the right. Push that left hip out. You should have very little weight on that right foot. You're just stretching that left side body. Inhale all the way back up. Switch sides. Weight to your right foot, right hip out. And 5. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Bring your hands down to Samasthiti and then to Tadasana. Inhale, your arms up overhead, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Stay here. Bring your right hand to the middle of the mat. And then on an inhale, take your left arm out and up and twist to the left. Breathe deeply here. Use your breath to help get your shoulders vertical. Trying to get your shoulder blades vertical in any of these twists. And 5, exhale, left hand down. Inhale that right arm up towards the ceiling. The right leg can be straight and your left can be bent. See if engaging your bandhas helps. By listening to your breath, that helps your meditation. And 5, exhale, right hand down. Inhale, come up halfway, gaze at the horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, hands to Samastitihi, and then Tadasana. Okay, now we're going to start the warm-up. We're going to do one Namaskara A and hold plank for, well, I won't say 10 breaths because I probably won't last 10 breaths. But that way it will shock your shoulders and it will get your shoulders loosened up, a lot of blood flowing so that the vinyasas to follow are easier to do. Then we'll do 3 regular Nam-As and 2 regular Nam-Bs. Okay, so from Tadasana, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. And pause here. Now your shoulder blades should be coming together. Draw your upper arms toward each other. Rotating so that your eye of the elbow wants to come forward, that's isometric. And at the same time, try rotating your palms, your hands toward each other. You can come down at any time. And on your next exhale, come all the way down. Put your toenails down. Lift your chest, pushing your arms forward, coming into Cobra. And then curl your toes under. Inhale. Rise up into Down Dog. And rest here for 5 breaths. Try dropping your chest between your shoulders. You can walk your dog. In 5, look between your hands. Hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. And hands to Samastitihi, and then Tadasana. And just see now if your shoulders are a little bit more prepared. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, roll over your toes. Up dog, and exhale. Lift your hips up and back into Down Dog. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Samastitihi. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, Down Dog. And breathe deeply here, slowing down your breath. And you want to breathe in and out through your nose. Your oxygen intake is much more efficient that way. In 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti and Tadasana. Was that it, or is there one more? I don't know. That was it?
That's three.
After holding. Okay, good. We're to the fun stuff already. Okay, Navasanas B has a left and a right warrior one. So when we start on an inhale, drop your seat, raise your arms up into chair for 5 breaths. Tuck that tailbone under, lengthening your spine. Bend your knees a little bit more. Inhale 5 and exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale, come up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Come down halfway. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Turn the left foot out immediately. Step the right foot forward. Inhale. Rise up to warrior one. Exhale, hands right back down. Stepping back to plank. Down again. Inhale forward to up dog. Exhale, hips back to down dog. Right foot turns out, left foot steps forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And rest here. Now you can take a break. You can come into child's pose. And if you have to breathe through your mouth, that's an indication you need a break. So take it. And 5, look between your hands. Hop, step, or float. From your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Listen carefully. Drop your seat. Raise your arms up to chair. Then continue rising up. And bring your hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. The second one, we're going to hold the warrior one for 5 breaths. And then we'll do a humble warrior for 5 breaths. Then do the other side. So, on your next inhale, drop your seat, raise your arms up, tuck that tailbone under. If you don't tuck your tailbone under, you can hurt that lower lumbar spine. Forward. On your exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot turns out. Right foot comes forward. Inhale, come up to warrior one. And this is the time to work on your form. Make sure that right knee is over your right ankle. Your shoulders are square to the front of your mat, as are your hips. Your left pinky toe is down, and that left heel is pushing away. And 5, exhale. Bring your arms down behind your back. Interlace your fingers however you wish. Push your palms down, lifting up your chest. And exhale, forward fold into humble warrior. As the crown of your head comes down towards the mat, your knuckles go up towards the ceiling. And 5, release. Bring your hands down towards the mat and rotate all the way back up to warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Rotate that right foot. Step the left foot forward. Inhale, warrior 1. Again, posture. Breathe in and out through your nose and slow down the pace. And 5, float your arms out behind you. Interlace your fingers the other way, the way that feels unnatural. Push your knuckles down, lifting up your chest. And then exhale. Fold forward into humble warrior. Lifting your knuckles up and the crown of your head down. You may be able to hear your heart rate. Push that right heel away, engaging that leg. And on your exhale, lower your arms down towards the floor and then bring them forward and up to warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And rest here for about 5 breaths. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Okay, the next is a wrist and shoulder counter for the poses that the vinyasas. So from vinyasa, from your Tadasana, pop your feet mat width. From here, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold, grabbing your big toes with your fingers. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, forward fold again, drawing the crown of the head down. Bending your arms as you pull the crown of your head down towards the mat. This is Badakanasana. And 5, release. Inhale, come up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Next is Badakanasana. Your palms underneath the soles of your feet. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Placing the palms underneath your feet, maybe your toes come all the way up to your hip and wrist crease. Inhale, lift up however much. Stretching your arms, and then exhale, forward fold. And 5, release your bind. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samasthiti. Back to Tadasana. Hop your feet hip width apart. And you have an optional vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And rest. Slowing down your breath. And 5. Look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samasthiti. And then to Tadasana. Okay, so for triangle and revolve triangle, we start by taking a giant step towards the back of the mat with your right foot. Both legs are straight. Bring your arms out to T and face the side of your mat. And then look over your right fingertips. Drop that right hip, lift your left hip, and then tip your triangle. Coming down, you can bring that hand to anywhere that feels good for you. Mine is to the middle of my calf. Yours might be to your knee. It might be down to the floor. Again, though, the object here is to get your shoulder blades vertical. So you can brace that right arm against the right knee and bend back, lean back, fall back to vertical. And then on your inhale, come all the way back up, arms in T. Rotate your feet to the front of the mat. Drop the left hip, lift the back, and then tip your triangle. Left arm down, right arm up. And again, use your arm to help that right shoulder come back. And if you fall out, that's fine. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And 5. Inhale, rise back up. Rotate your feet in towards the back of the mat. Step that left foot in a bit. We're going to keep your arms in T, and then face the back of your mat with your arms out in T. This is revolve triangle. And then maybe you can rotate off to the right. You can bring that right hand down on top of your right hip. And then bring your left hand down on the outside of that right leg. Again, you're trying left hand down, right arm up or on your right hip. And 5. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Windmill your arms, rotate your feet, adjust your feet. Now notice the differences between your sides. Rotate to the left. So now your right arm is going to go down on the outside of that left leg as you make a revolve triangle. And 5, inhale, rise all the way back up, arms into T, look towards the front of the mat, step forward into Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Ready for another vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Three. And 5. Look between your hands. Hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. and hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Next is side angle. So again, right foot steps way to the back of the mat. Your left foot is out at a 90-degree angle. Come into warrior two. From here, bend that right elbow and bring the center of that forearm on top of the middle of your thigh. Get your shoulder blades vertical. Take that left arm overhead, reaching for the corner of the ceiling and wall beyond your right toes. Maybe you can gaze up at the eye of your elbow, maybe down at the floor. And on your inhale, rise back up, arms to T, rotate your feet. And that left knee coming into warrior two on the left. Then the left arm and side angle on the left. If you're stretching that right arm over your head towards the corner, that's good, but try to get your palm facing the ground. Push that right heel away. 5, inhale, rise all the way back up. Arms into T, rotate your feet. Come back into warrior two. This time we're going to do prayer twist. So you can change your left foot, come up on your toes, bring your arms and T towards the back of the room, and then rotate to the right. Bring your palms together, and then fold forward, catching your left elbow over your right thigh. And again, trying to get your shoulder blades vertical. Push that left heel away. In 5, inhale, rise all the way back up, straighten your legs, arms to T, rotate your feet, adjust your foot locations, bring your arms to T towards the front, rotate to the left, bring your palms together, and then right elbow over the left knee for a twist. And notice any difference between your right or left sides. We all have those differences. And 5, release. Come back to center. Straighten up, arms into T. And look towards the front of your mat. Step forward into Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Another vinyasa. It's optional. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Maybe push your heels down, stretching your hamstrings. And 5, look between your hands. Hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Next, we have Procerita Abcd and D. So again, big step to the right or to the back with your feet parallel towards the side of your mat. Start with your hands on your hips. Inhale, lean back, lifting up your chest, gazing up. And exhale, begin to fold forward. And when you feel comfortable or in need, you can drop your hands to the mat. Maybe your fingertips are in line with your toes. This is a groin opener. So be generous
And be compassionate to your own body. You can adjust your foot locations whenever it's good for you. In 5, listen carefully, bring your hands to your hips. Run an inhale, lift your chest up using your hands and your thighs all the way up. Move your hands to the back of your hips. Lift your chest high, drawing your elbows toward each other. Inhale, and then exhale, forward fold, and keep trying to get those elbows toward each other. Your shoulder blades should be kissing. You probably won't go as far forward or as far down, but that's okay. Notice any change in your groins, many different muscles. You have a lot of adductors that are being stretched here. On your 5th inhale, rise all the way back up using your elbows to help you up. Bring your arms out into T. Then bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers any way you want. Push your knuckles down, lifting up your chest. Then on an exhale, forward fold. Again, the crown of your head is coming down towards the mat. As your knuckles go up towards the ceiling. And on your next inhale, use your hands to help you rise all the way back up. Bring your arms out into T. Inhale, your chest high, and exhale, forward fold. One more time, arms out. Your arms can be on your legs. They can grab your big toe with your peace fingers if they reach. And again, crown of your head down. On your next inhale, release and rise all the way back up. You can heel toe your feet toward each other or just hop your feet together. Turn towards the front of the mat, step forward into Tadasana. You have another vinyasa here. Should you wish to do one, inhale, hold hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, down dog. And look between your hands. Hop, step or jump on it. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samastiti. Okay, so now we have Procerita Abcd. So come into Tadasana, and then bring your weight into your left foot. Then lift your right knee up. With your right fingers, grab onto your big toe. And then straighten out that leg as best you can. You don't want to be you don't want to match me. And 5. From here, maybe you can rotate that leg out to the side, maybe not. You can just grab onto that knee and draw that knee in, but make sure that knee is out to the side. You want to open up your pelvis here or open up your hips.
And if you fall out, that's fine. That's why this is practice. Championships are in 3 weeks. And then release, you can step that down. Step that out a little bit. Come back to Tadasana. You're not done on that left foot yet. But from here, bring the weight back into your left foot. Lift that right foot up 1 inch. And then with a straight leg, just bring that right foot forward. And I have a picture in a book with a 40-year-old man with that foot up at his eye level. And the picture was taken before Photoshop. And then down, it will do the rest of these on the left. So back to Tadasana. Weight into the right foot. Bend the left knee, grab your toes. Big toe, and then straightenish that leg. Try straightening your spine. That's more important than straightening your leg. And what you'll find is your leg will straighten a little bit more if your spine is straight. In 5, maybe you can just swing that leg out to the left, maybe not. If not, just grab that knee, which is facing the left side of your mat, and lift that up as high as you can get it. You're stretching your hip flexors, specifically your iliacus muscle, along with a little bit of your psoas, and then release it down. Step that out. Tadasana. Weight into the right foot, lift the left foot up 1 inch, bring that left foot forward. Slow down your breathing. Notice the muscles in your right leg, which ones are working hardest. And exhale, put back down. Step that out. Back to Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, top dog. Exhale to down dog. Okay, now to get out of this, we're going to end up in Dandasana, the seated pose. So you can jump through if you wish. You can come down onto your knees like me. Come onto your favorite hip. Swing your feet around to the front. Now for Dandasana, your toes should be up towards the ceiling. That will flex. Flexing the foot, you strengthen or you're stretching the back of your legs. From here, place your palms down on the mat next to your hips. And if your arms aren't long enough, like mine, I'm going to move my hands a couple of inches back. Just take your sternum up towards the sky along with the crown of your head. And breathe for 5 breaths. You're pushing those heels away. And release. Next is Hashmatasanas. So inhale your chest high and exhale forward fold, reaching for your toes. With each hand,
Now it helps if your feet are hip width apart. You can test that out, see if it works for you. If your feet are together, I've found that my muscles or bones somehow affect my forward fold. Draw your collarbones towards your feet, crown of your head towards the far wall. Bring your chin to your knees is not the point. In 5, release, inhale, sit all the way back up. And then on your next exhale, forward fold, make a bind across the bottoms of your feet, or maybe just grab the outsides of your feet. Again, crown of your head is towards the far wall. Your collarbones are towards your feet. Your gaze is down towards the mat. 5, release. Inhale, sit back up. And we're going to do a reverse table here. So bring your hands behind your back, behind your hips rather. Bend your feet. Bring your footprints onto the mat. Now, some of you can bring your hands all the way forward. I can't, but that's just unique to my skeleton. Do what you can. Tuck your tailbone under on an inhale and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. 2. Draw your heels towards your hands. Push your knees towards the far wall. That will lift your hips a little bit more. 4. And 5. Lower your hips back down. Now we have Janusasana. So with your left leg out, bend your right knee, bring your right sole of your foot into your left thigh. Inhale your chest tall, and exhale, reach both hands towards your right toes. You're trying to get that right knee just to fall down towards the mat using gravity. It's a hip opener and a hamstring stretch and a spine stretch. 5, release, inhale, come all the way back up. And exhale right back down. This time make a bind across the bottom of that foot. Crown of your head towards the far wall. Collarbones towards your foot. And don't worry if you don't look like the person across from you, because everybody here is different. Your body is different. Any yoga instructor who tries to enforce a specific pose on you is not doing the job. In 5, release. Inhale, come back up. Now, take that right foot in both hands, lift that leg up high, somewhat, and then maybe you can bring that right heel to your left hip crease. Maybe not. Maybe you can bring it on top of your thigh, and maybe not. If you want to put it back onto the inside of that right leg, that's good too. But inhale here. You're opening up this hip a little bit more for lotus. Inhale tall and exhale forward fold. And you may notice some restrictions here. These asymmetric poses are so interesting because the other side of your body does not normally get involved. So you normally have a little more flexibility. 5, release, inhale, come all the way back up. Right foot out to meet the left. And that left knee, bring your left foot into your right thigh, inner thigh. Inhale your spine tall. And exhale, forward fold. Reaching for your toes. Now, you don't have to get your toes. You can grab onto your ankle. your knee, the right knee can be bent, which is just telling you that your hamstring is really tight. In 5, release, inhale, come all the way back up. And exhale, right back into a bind across the bottom of the foot. You can really feel your shoulder blades being pulled towards the sides of your body as you're doing this. Maybe you want to try to drag your right hip back towards the back of the mat. See what that does to your leg and your arms. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. Lift that right knee up. Bring your right heel into your left heel into your right hip crease. And notice this side may be radically different than the other. Being a good yogi means that you have compassion and empathy for your body parts that might not work the way you want them to. Inhale, and then exhale, forward fold. Make any adjustment that's necessary. And note that an adjustment today might not be needed tomorrow. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. From here, I haven't been doing the bump ups, but I'm going to ask for that right now. For those of you who have been doing yoga with me for, well, since the summer, or was it summer before? Anyway, here's a vinyasa in Ashtanga for the seated poses. And the way it works is you cross your ankles, you bring your knees in high, you bring your hands flat on the mat, you bump up, and then you rotate your body, kick your feet back into plank and do a vinyasa, and then jump all the way back to where I am now. So anyway, if I were 40 years younger, maybe, probably not. But there's an alternative. If your arms are short, like mine, you can use blocks, and you don't have to do this. But the closer in your knees come to your chest, the easier this is to do. You put blocks in front, and then I'm going to use my knuckles here, but anyway, then you can bump up and keep your feet forward. Not quite as beautiful as others can do it. But anyway, okay, so we're to Marichi, one of my favorites. So for Marichi, we're going to start on the right side. There are 4 steps. So bend your right knee, bringing your right heel in close to your sit bone, right sit bone. Your left leg is out in front. And this is a forward fold. What you're trying to do is to get your right armpit in front of that right shin. And believe me, I've been trying for years and hasn't happened yet. But it's I'm getting closer. Inhale tall. I'm grabbing onto that right foot with my right hand. And then exhale, forward fold, reaching for my left leg. Three, 4, and 5. Release, inhales, come back up. Grab your knee where it is with your left hand, right hand behind your back. Lift your spine tall. That is the key to any twist. Straighten your spine. Inhale, and then twist to your right. And this isn't for your neck. This is for your shoulders. So try to get that right shoulder blade back and down.
And 5, come back to center. This time, keep your right knee where it is, bend your left knee and bring that left foot in front of your right heel. This just makes your body a little more compact. We're going to do the forward fold again. So inhale up and exhale, forward fold. Try to keep your sit bones on the mat, although that right sit bone will want to rise up. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. And this time, maybe that right arm can come in front of that knee, maybe not. Mine doesn't want to, but straighten up your spine. Bring your left hand behind your back, inhale, and twist to the left. And possibly you can bring that left arm behind your back and tie up, and bind with your right fingers that go in front of your knee. Don't look at me, because I can't do it, but some of you can. The straighter your spine, the more length you have. And 5, release. Bring both legs out to the front of the mat. Bend your left knee, bring that left heel in towards your left sit bone, right foot out in front. Inhale tall and exhale forward fold. And 5, release. Inhale, come back up. From here, right hand to the left knee, left hand behind your back, rise up. And then twist to the left. Push that right heel away. And 5, come back to center. Then that right knee, bring that right foot behind your left. This is the forward fold again. So inhale tall and exhale forward fold. Keep your spine as straight as you can make it. Collarbones going towards the front of your mat, crown of your head going towards the wall. And inhale, sit back up. Now my hand, left arm is farther than it's ever been, so I'm not going to move it. I'm going to try to make a bind this time. But anyway, inhale, straighten up your spine. And exhale, twist to the left. And I can tell I'm about 4 inches short. And 5, release, come back to center. Bring your legs out to the front. And then cross your ankles for another bump up if you wish. Lift your knees up high. Inhale, bump up. Bring your legs out. Okay, so let's do a few Navasanas, boat pose. So from here, sitting up, bend your knees, bring your footprints to the mat. Now your feet can be together, they can be hip width apart, doesn't matter. From here, grab the back of your thighs and then lean back until your back straightens. Then on an inhale, lift your shins roughly parallel to the floor. And if you want to release, you can. You don't have to. If you're holding on, you're still getting benefits of the pose, strengthening your core. And 5, release. Back down. We'll do 2 more of those. Whenever I talk, I lose track of counts. So, okay, get ready. Inhale, lift up. You want to intensify this, you can bring your arms out wider or straighten your legs. And release. Have 1 more. On your next inhale, lift your legs up. Release. Maybe you can bring your legs and arms up towards the ceiling. That intensifies this more. And release. Okay, from here, this is when a bump up really feels good. So cross your ankles, lift your knees high. And then inhale, bump up, and then legs out. Okay, so we're to butterfly pose, Badakanasana. And this is done in 2 stages. One is you can get your heels fairly close to your pubic bone, and that will really intensify the stretch on your groins. You want to be aware that you don't want to hurt yourself. So use a distance that's appropriate for you. And like all hatha poses, and Ashtanga is a hatha practice, you use strength. You don't just relax into this pose. So from here, you can grab onto your feet, lift your chest high, crown your head up towards the ceiling, and then on an exhale, forward fold. You might not come very far, which is okay because the target is your groins. And release. Inhale, come all the way back up. Move your feet out farther. So maybe you have a rough square between your ankles and your thighs. And maybe you want to just put your forearms down on the mat underneath your ankles. That will make this a little bit more powerful. Inhale, up, and exhale, forward fold. Stretching your collarbones towards the front of your mat, way beyond your feet. Crown of your head towards the far wall. Stretching your spine. Should be a lot less on your groins. And 5, release. Inhale, sit back up. Straighten out your legs. And now I'm going to offer any number of lotus positions. And each of you is different. Your hips are different. Before I started teaching this vinyasa class, I'd only gotten into Lotus twice in my life. So here I am 190 classes later, and I can do it both ways. But don't feel bad if what is best for you is just crossing your legs. That is perfectly acceptable. If you want to try half lotus, you can bring one heel up and place it on top of your inner thigh. And then bend the other knee and just have it underneath. And this may be comfortable for some of you, may be uncomfortable. If it's uncomfortable, don't do it. You can do it on the other side, maybe, but try that. I'm going to offer it on the other side too. You can always leave this other leg out front if bringing it up bothers you. And then just sit here. You can come into Lotus by bringing that other knee up on the other hip crease. And then just close your eyes. Just going to be here. I've already talked through most of the 5 breaths. So just notice how it feels. What parts of your hips, and your back and your legs are you feeling most? This is self-instruction. And then release. Straighten out your legs. Now bend the other leg. Maybe you can, and even if you think you can't do this side, just humor me and try it. Sometimes you find that the leg that you don't rely on is more flexible, which actually makes sense because it has less muscle. And then bend that other knee. Bring that in into half lotus if that works. If not, just stay with your legs crossed. Or maybe you can come into lotus on this side. We're going to be here for about 10 breaths. 5 more breaths than what you've been in. Allow your eyes to close and turn inside your body. See what's going on. If your body's shouting at you to get out of this position, breathe into that area that's giving you problems. Direct your blood flow so that you get more oxygen and more water. Then open your eyes. And now, over the next 10 breaths, I'd like you to begin to fold forward. And by the time you get to your 10th breath, you'll be as close to the mat as you can come. Now, this is not a test or anything, but this is to help you feel your body as it's moving. If you just plunk over and you go really quickly, you don't feel the muscles releasing and other muscles taking up. So we're about at a 4. Five. 6. 7. 8, 9, 10. On your next inhale, slowly come back up into seated position. Carefully untangle your legs. Sometimes it takes more effort to get your legs released. Bring your feet out to the front of your mat. Bring your hands behind your hips. Push your heels away. Rotate your feet. Just rock them from left to right on your heels. That rotates your femurs and the hip socket, which is what you were really challenging in your lotus or your half lotus. And then come down onto your elbows, all the way down onto your back. Raise your arms up towards the ceiling, and then down onto the floor beyond your head, and stretch from your heels to your palms, stretching the back of your body, and then your toes to your fingers, stretching the front of your body. And then you turn your arms somewhere by your side. Your arms can be out in T. Can look like the Da Vinci Man. Walk your feet out a comfortable distance apart. Lift your head up an inch, stretch your neck long, tuck your chin, place your head back down, and release. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose, and exhale it out through your nose. Another breath in through your nose, out through your nose. And take rest.
Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your space. Bring movement with your fingers into your hands, to your wrists, and to your ankles. Gently roll your head from left to right. And when you're ready, walk your footprints up towards your sit bones. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Begin to rock all the way from your shoulder and hip to your other shoulder and hip, massaging your spine. And the next time you come over towards the right side, pause there in a fetal pose for just a moment and do a quick body scan, checking to see if there's any tension or stress that is successfully hidden from your practice this morning so that you can address it later today or in another class later in the week. And then using the strength in your left hand, push the floor away and rise up to a seated position. Thank you for sharing your Ashtanga practice with me this morning. It sure is nice to start the week in such a strong fashion. It sets you up for whatever is going to come your way. Take the compassion and the peace and empathy that you use every time you step onto your mat. Take that with you and share it with your family, your friends, and those you may meet. Namaste. My name is Clint, and this has been Ashtanga Yoga. Thanks for coming.